Are you satisfied with Goodell's statement?
I'll be satisfied if and when Kaepernick gets a job, or at least has the opportunity for a job, without a kind of workout, a tryout, being a Trojan horse to smuggle a waiver in that would help the NFL in a future lawsuit. You know, stuff like that. Look, it's interesting to listen to Goodell talk about how he stands with the protesters and everything, because, you know, the protests have always been against the man, right? It's tough for the man to say, now I'm joining the protesters, because Goodell is one of the faces of the man. On the other hand, there have been, and Domonique, you'll know more about this than I will. You used to obviously be the head of the players union, and so you have much more direct dealings in this sort of thing and know more about Goodell. But there is a sense that the owners have limited his power in this way, in terms of helping Cap out, giving him a fair shake. That may be true. The fact that Goodell is saying this now indicates how things have changed, because make no mistake, the NFL's quote-unquote core values, the work in the community and everything, seems to me to be just an issue of calculation. How much can we give with this helping our bottom line, or at least not hurting our bottom line? We can't be seen to be doing nothing. And I think that's the way the NFL makes calculations. And by the way, that's the way most corporations operate. They're not moral or immoral. They're mostly amoral. The job of a corporation, which is why they need regulation, government regulation, is to make money. That's what they know. So what's the real core value of the NFL? The core values are to make money by bringing you football and covering the world of football. Those are the core values. And if they think that this is going to interfere with their bottom line, they'll get on board with the protests to a degree, to enough of a degree where they don't alienate the other side, right? Like whoever would be pro-police brutality. But not that long ago, they felt that whatever economic damage the protesters or the Kaepernick supporters would do to the league if they didn't support would be outweighed by the economic damage done by the so-called mainstream, who by and large the NFL felt was against the protest. This indicates, I think, the NFL doing a new calculation where they think the times have changed in the last 4 years, because the original situation with Kaepernick was 4 years ago. Things have changed, and we could do more economic damage to ourselves now by not at least paying lip service to the idea that we support the protest. But until it has some teeth, it won't be good enough.
Yeah, Drew Brees was that tipping point, I think, in NFL circles. I think so many people were willfully ignorant about what Kaepernick's protest was about, and they chose to say it was about disrespecting the flag, when obviously there was enough information out there that they could have known what it was actually about. But I think no one at this point can go forward being ignorant about what kneeling during the flag meant then and what it may mean going forward. So I do think that there should be no sides on this. It's quite clear. Everyone, including Drew Brees, understands that kneeling while the national anthem is going on is not disrespect to a flag or any troops. In fact, it's the opposite. It is calling the country to live up to what it says that it believes in. Like, it is more than anything, it is suggesting that we can do better and we can actually be the America that we say that we want to be. So I do think that is all changed. So there should be no opposition to that. So saying that doesn't really make me feel all that warm and fuzzy about Roger Goodell making this statement, because it feels like he's going to where the safe place is. The safe place before, he felt like, was again with the loud majority of people who thought that this was some sort of demonstration of disrespect. Now it seems the money and the safety is on the other side. So that's where he's going. That's what he's saying. And I'm not going to attempt to jump into Roger Goodell's mind, though I had to work with him in the past when I was president of the union. I do think that the people that I've talked to inside the league and around the league believe that Roger Goodell personally has been on the right side of many of these issues, that he wanted Kaepernick back in the league and he didn't want Cap out. He wanted improvements in diversity. He wanted to beef up the Rooney Rule. Like, that's what people say about him. And he hasn't had the courage, I guess, to step out of the way and let the ire of the media and the fans who have a problem with the progress of the NFL fall on the owners. He stood in front and taken these slings and arrows on behalf of them, and now it seems like, if anything, this is a potential possibility
Dominique,
for him to step out of the way. Yeah.
So in the NBA, I get the distinct impression that Adam Silver can say, hey, we have to do things like this now. Obviously, the commissioner's power comes from the owners, but a strong commissioner and an empowered commissioner, part of that is how the owners view the commissioner, part of that is the personality of the commissioner, can kind of take charge. It seems to me that you're saying, correct me if I'm wrong, that Goodell doesn't have the power to get Kaepernick a job. Is that his management style? Is that the NFL owner saying, wait a minute, we run this thing, you're more of a figurehead than you realize? What is that?
Well, he doesn't have the power to do that because he doesn't run any individual teams. Like, Adam Silver wouldn't have that power either. I think potentially he could have the power to stop it and maybe create the circumstances for where it could take place, and maybe he's failed in that way. But I think it's important to understand at least the recent history of the commissioner's office in the NFL. Like, Paul Tagliabue was the commissioner. The owners felt as though he was a bit lenient. At least this was what we talked about when I was in the league. They felt like he was a little bit too buddy-buddy with the union and the players. Roger Goodell came in part because the owners wanted somebody who they felt like they could have more influence over, and it's worked out well for them financially up until this point. I think the history of the NBA and their commissioner's office is very different. So I think that Roger is at a point now where they don't have to have power over him anymore. Like, he's already negotiated what most people believe is going to be his last CBA. He's already made hundreds of millions of dollars. What power do they have over him now? Like, if he feels that this is his opportunity to correct his legacy and for us to remember Roger Goodell as a freedom fighter, and he said that he's going to protest, he did say he was going to protest with them. I'm waiting to see what that's going to look like. If he wants that to be part of how we remember him, then this is his opportunity, because they really have no leverage over him at this point. What are they going to do? He's done everything that he wanted to do in his career.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.